Good morning, everybody. My name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, August 27th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at SEOroundtable.com. Lots to discuss. One, the Google link spam update is finally done rolling out after a full month. We talked about it a little bit last week. It took them a little bit longer, 2 weeks longer than they expected. Google has confirmed that they made those title changes to the search results, and there's a lot there, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Google's Search Console performance report had a reporting bug on August 23rd and 24th. More on that. Google Ads added a bunch of features and had a lot of bugs this week and so much more. So definitely stay tuned. Of course, I'd like to thank our new sponsor, Duda. Duda is the professional website builder you can call your own. So definitely check them out. Thank you so much for sponsoring. You can check them out at duda.co. Thank you so much for sponsoring. Okay, so first up, again, the link spam update is done rolling out. It started to roll out on July 26th. It finished on August 24th. That was about 4 weeks and 1 day, which was exactly 2 weeks longer than Google said it would actually take. So if you did see any type of update or ranking change and you did any link spammy stuff in the past in your history, it may be related to that in that 4 week period. We definitely saw a bunch of unconfirmed updates over the past 4 weeks or so. So hard to know. I hate when Google rolls out these things really slowly and we see all these unconfirmed updates. We just don't know what's going on there. So that was the first thing. The next thing is that over the last Tuesday, a week ago Tuesday, so not this past Tuesday, but on August 17th, we were the first to report that Google made some changes where the search results were showing not the title, or some of the search results were not showing the title HTML title tag, but showing maybe header tags or other content from the page. Now, Google has always done this. They've never always showed the HTML title tag for every single search result snippet. Sometimes they show the content on the page. Sometimes they show the anchor text pointing to the page and so forth. That's not new. But what is new is they made a tweak to it. And Google confirmed that they made a tweak to it. And I think now people are seeing a lot more of the time they're not using the HTML title tag. I'm not sure what that percentage is. I've been asking Google over and over and over again. Google told us now 80% of the titles they're using are from the HTML title. That's what they told us in this blog post. So I said, what was it before? Was it 85%? Was it 95%? Google said they're using more other elements, content from the page, than they were before. But what's more? Is it, are they using HTML title tags 20% less than they were? I want to know what that number is. It's definitely more. The bigger news is that Google said for the title element, they are no longer using the query. So it used to be that sometimes if you did a search, that query that you use would actually customize that title that Google used, even if it wasn't in the title of HTML title of the page. It would basically, Google's rationale was if we can match the query, the title to the query. So somebody searches for, Duda, and Duda wasn't in the title tag, or maybe professional website builder, and professional website builder wasn't in the title tag, but Google put that in the title of the snippet because it was related to the query and related to the website, even though it wasn't in the title, they would have a higher click-through rate. Google said, we're no longer doing that. We're going to show the best possible title based on the content of that page. And sometimes that might be the HTML title. Sometimes that might be a header tag, which Google said they're using more of, or other content on the page, or even anchor text. Google said, again, the title tag is still very important. It's used for 80% of search queries. Again, what's the difference? Were they using 95% of the time beforehand? I don't know. I'm trying to find out. Headers are now more important. So Google said, basically they're using headers more often these days. How much more often? I don't know. Links still may be used, like the anchor text, like I said. Google's heard tons and tons and tons of feedback from the SEO community saying, stop messing with my titles, put it back. Here's some horrible examples. In fact, Google even created a thread for horrible examples. And Google promised that they're going to improve. Google also said that the new titles have proven to be better. So they didn't make the switch because it was worse. They obviously did the testing, and I believe this. I believe Google did serious testing to make sure that the results were actually better, and Google said they are better. But I guess if you make changes to your pages, and Google recalls those pages, I assume Google will fix those titles or maybe adapt those titles to something new. So if you've isolated the pages that Google has butchered your titles with, I would recommend, I'm not sure if this worked yet, we should test it obviously, updating your title tag a little bit, definitely updating some of your H1 tags on the page, and then using the URL inspection tool to force Google to recrawl that page and see if that triggers Google to update the title they're using in the snippet. Google said they do check for changes and they will adapt quickly. This is a global and all languages type of update. Google said, yes, this is global, all languages. This does not seem to impact rankings at all. It's just the way the title shows up in the search results. And Google said they made the change because it's something that they thought would be better. So just definitely take a look at that. I have a really long blog post going through all this. I think I posted it about on Tuesday or Wednesday. Google again has heard all the feedback. Google said we may go ahead and even add features that you could control your title tags better. I don't know if it's going to be a robots tag or some type of directive or meta tag, or maybe even Google Search Console may add a feature saying do not mess with my title tags. I'm not sure. Danny Sullivan is looking into it and talking with the team to see what they could do. Google also opened, I think John Mueller opened a Search Console thread in their forums asking you to post examples of poor titles that Google's using, so definitely post examples there. What's interesting is this morning I posted that Google said the descriptions themselves are not changed. Queries can definitely influence what the description says. So you have your title, which is a clickable link in the search results. Under that, you have a snippet or description. And that snippet or description still can show and dynamically change based on the query. And I showed an example, John Mueller actually showed an example of that happening. So nothing's changed with the actual meta description component or the snippet component. Also this week, moving off of the whole title description thing, Google Search Console had a major bug this week with their performance report where some data seems to be lost, which makes this whole title tag thing hard to track, of course, because Monday and Tuesday's data is pretty bad. But on August 23rd and 24th, Google said there was a data void or data bug where there was an internal problem causing data loss in search and discover performance reporting during the period of August 23rd and 24th. Users may see a significant drop in data in the performance report during that period. This not actually affect any rankings, of course, but again, if you're trying to track and see what has changed, that may be an issue for you. There's lots of complaints about it. I'm not sure if they're going to even be able to backfill the data. Still waiting to hear back on that, and hopefully they will be able to backfill that data. Google said generally removing AMP pages should not have any negative consequence to your rankings. Sometimes they can, but speed is not a huge factor, of course, like we said. And if AMP is the only thing that's improving your speed and your site is fast enough, you'll probably be fine. Sorry about the lighting. The sun just came out and it's starting to mess up with the actual video, but apologize. I don't want to stop. Google has said this week that they made over 4,500 changes to search in 2020. Give you perspective, in 2019, they made 3,200 changes. I think they made, and then Google said again this year in 2020, this is the year of COVID, people working from home, et cetera, they made over 4,500 changes. That is about 12.5 changes per day, not even per workday. I think it's like 17 plus changes per workday. And that's a lot of changes, especially during COVID. So something interesting to see. Google's constantly making changes. We cover some of them, not all of them. And this is not just algorithm changes, but this is UI changes and feature changes and so forth. A survey said that most SEOs prefer to canonicalize their duplicate content issues, not redirect them, not improve the content, but canonicalize those duplicate content issues. This poll had about 1,000 results, and the question was, what do you do with your content duplication issues? 57.5% said canonicalize it, 11.8% said no index it, and 18.4% said rewrite everything, rewrite the content from scratch, and then other answers were 12.3%. This poll came from Sophie Brannon. Another poll I wanted to bring up was asking, how did COVID change your SEO, or did it change your SEO? And the question was basically, did COVID change how you do SEO? And the responses were primarily no. So the responses were basically 52.5% said no. COVID did not change how we do SEO. 21.6% said yes, it did. 22% said it depends, of course. So pretty fun poll. I guess there's ways of understanding how COVID may have changed you doing SEO in terms of employees and company management versus actually technically doing SEO. So very interesting. Google Ads has revised and updated the campaign setup screen. It's completely redesigned. It obviously threw a lot of advertisers for a loop who use the screen a lot. So definitely take a look at that. Hopefully, it's not a big change, but it is. It looks like a big change. Google Shopping had a bug that led to huge, absolutely huge declines in impressions. I'm not sure if it was a issue specifically with reporting. I think it was actually an issue with surveying and stuff like that. So Google did fix it. I don't think it impacted every single region. It seemed to impact the UK and a bunch of other regions more significantly. But it was a big bug where Google Shopping ads and products and so forth were not showing for a bunch of people, and the impression counts dropped significantly. Clicks and impressions significantly dropped, including cost, of course. So that kind of threw people for a loop over the weekend. Google Keyword Planner stopped working for a good 24 plus hours this week. So you were definitely not alone if you were trying to use Google Keyword Planner. It was a bug. Ginny Marvin escalated it, and within a day or so it was fixed. But there was a point where it actually was showing no data. There was a trick where you could actually hit export, and when you exported it, the data would actually come out. So that was one of the tricks, but again, it's now working. Google Ads has added more custom columns to the Google Ads reporting. This is a question that Ginny Marvin asked, saying, what custom columns features do you want me to add, or Google to add? And Google added new columns, including these 4 new metrics: search impression share, click impression share, display impression share, and phone call metrics. So definitely check that out. Google Ads has added new smart bidding options, specifically based off of conversion value. So if you want to go ahead and use smart bidding and use this conversion value metric, you can use that to automatically change your bids. Google Merchant Center now has a new sync feature, automatic synchronize your Google Merchant Center data to your Google Manufacturer Center data. So definitely take a look at that if you're using both of those. Google AdSense has launched a new auto optimize experiment feature. If you're using a lot of Google AdSense, the 4 new features include select traffic, block a style, block an experiment. Actually, there's 3. So select traffic, block a style, and block an experiment. So those are all under the optimize feature in the experiment tab. Google Local is testing, again, I think I've seen it actually, I don't know if it's testing, local packs with the map, but with the 3 local listings, but without any call to actions, no directions, no ordering, no call us now, none of that features, just blank. Very interesting. And then Google Post now seems to has a little disclaimer, which you can see over here, that basically says we could post your Google Post on third-party sites. It's up to you if you want to do it. Obviously, you could go on Google Search, go on Google Maps, but we're going to also have the right to actually post them on third-party sites. What third-party sites would Google post them on? I'm not sure. Just keep that in mind if you don't want them to show up on Google on third-party sites. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Of course, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, all that type of stuff that YouTubers say. Sorry for the lighting. The sun came up. Thanks so much for Duda.com. Check them out for sponsoring. Again, my name is Barry Schwartz. This is the Search Buzz video recap. And today is Friday, August 27th. Everyone have a great, safe, and healthy weekend. See you guys next. Goodbye.